In today's America, fear has become a dominant atmosphere, subtle yet suffocating. It manifests not only in anxious headlines or political divides, but in the internal tremors that paralyze decision making, silence authenticity, and corrode our collective sense of meaning. People are afraid of scarcity, afraid of failure, of rejection, of insignificance. Beneath the noise of technology, social media, and progress lies a quieter truth, a nation gripped by the spirit of fear. But this fear is not merely emotional. The emotional experience of fear, a physiological response to danger, is natural and protective. It alerts us, helps us survive. What we face now, however, is something deeper, more spiritual. It is the spirit of fear, that invisible weight that binds potential, distorts perception, and gradually teaches us to distrust ourselves, our neighbor, and even God. In this spiritual climate, the story of Peter becomes especially urgent. Peter, the disciple who once walked on water and vowed undying loyalty to Jesus, denied him 3 times when fear overtook him. Not because he hated Jesus, but because the spirit of fear overwhelmed the truth he knew in his heart. After the resurrection, Jesus does not condemn Peter. He meets him with a question, asked not once, but 3 times. Peter, do you love me? John 21:15-17. This question is not about information. It is about transformation. Jesus, fully aware of Peter's love, asks not to affirm himself, but to awaken Peter. Do you love me? Is a question that confronts the spirit of fear with the truth of identity. It is love, not guilt, that restores Peter to purpose. And this is where many of us stand now, in need of a voice not to punish us for being afraid, but to remind us who we are beyond the fear. The Apostle Paul writes, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind." 2 Timothy 1:7. This is not symbolic. It is ontological. When we receive Christ, we receive his spirit. And that spirit, resurrection power, Romans 8:11, is not afraid. It is bold, clear, and rooted in love. If Jesus lives in you, Jesus is not afraid. So what separates Peter from Judas? Not that one failed and the other didn't. Both betrayed Jesus, but Peter loved Jesus and feared man. Judas loved money and feared loss. You cannot serve both God and money. You cannot serve both God and mammon is the god of wealth. Jesus taught us that, and you can find it in Matthew 6:24, because misplaced desire will always distort love. Yet Peter's love, though clouded by fear, was real. Jesus knew that, and so he restored him not to grace, but to mission. Feed my sheep. Love is not passive. It is the foundation of action, and this is why Scripture tells us there is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear, because fear has to do with torment, or some versions say punishment. 1 John 4:18. Jesus does not punish Peter. He gives him something greater. He calls him higher. He says, in essence, I know your heart, and I need you to know it too. Even when our hearts condemn us, God is greater than our hearts, and he knows everything. 1 John 3:20. And to those who feel gripped by fear today, this is your truth. The Spirit of Christ in you is not afraid. It is love. It is power. It is a sound mind. Jesus said, "Behold, I have given you the power to tread upon serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing by any means shall hurt you." Luke 10:19. If fear has gripped you, it does not define you. It is not your inheritance. Christ did not die and rise so you could live imprisoned by what he has already defeated. The opposite of love is not hate, it is fear. And Jesus Christ is love embodied, God in the flesh. If he lives in you, then resurrection power lives in you. You are not your fear. You are not your failure. You are loved. You are called. You are powerful. Be whole. Be sound in mind. Be free. Be cage free. And remember to see yourself even if the world is blind. Reflect, connect, and transcend every internal and external barrier that would try to cage your voice. Remember, be cage free.